guys, and welcome to yet another tier list video. I'm your host, BC King, and today is gonna be a big one because since I've now finished the Indigo Disk DLC in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it is now time for me to rank every single mainline Pokemon game from Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow all the way to the Scarlet and Violet DLC. It's gonna be a good one. As you guys know, Pokemon is my favorite series of all time, and I have a lot to say about all these games, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get this big tier list going. So we start with Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and Green, which is a Japanese-only version. These for me are like, you know, the standard, well, the starting standard for Pokemon games. They are kind of slow-moving. The graphics obviously aren't the best. It's on original Game Boy. But yeah, they did their job. They introduced a generation to a new IP, being Pokemon, and there's a lot to do. You can catch, every Pokemon in the game, you can fight all the gym leaders, and trade and whatnot. But, however, it is a tier list, and compared to the other ones in this list, doesn't quite match up. So, I'm gonna put Red, Blue, Yellow, and Green in C tier. They're not bad games. Again, none of these are bad games. It's just I have to rank them based on other games in the series. And I think Red, Blue, Yellow, and Green did their job, obviously, but, I think other games have done more, have better graphics, have better content, or more content, I should say. But yeah, they did their job. They introduced us to Pokemon, and they were fun for what they were. So probably a solid C or C+ for the original Pokemon generation. Oh boy, onto Gold, Silver, and Crystal. These games, when they first came out, were pretty massive for one big reason. You had the Johto region and the Kanto region to explore. Mr. Iwata, who was alive at the time, he programmed the game to fit the Kanto region in the post-game, and because of that, after you beat the main story, you can travel across all of Kanto, beat those gym leaders, and then go fight Red for the final boss. It was an amazing undertaking. The story's great. I love Lugia, love Ho-Oh, great locations. So for me, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, not quite the cream of the crop, but they're definitely an A tier. The fact that Kanto fit in these games at all on the original Game Boy, or was it Game Boy Color? It was Game Boy Color. But the fact that it fit in that was still mind-blowing. Now, obviously, other games have done better with that, but at the time, it was a legendary undertaking, no pun intended. But yeah, great Pokemon, great story once again. So Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and of course Kanto being in, easy A tier for Gen 2. So Gen 3 is pretty special to me. I grew up with that generation along with getting to play 1 and 2 before, while that was out as well. So Ruby and Sapphire, they're good. They introduced double battles, they had a lot of new Pokemon. The locations were fantastic, loved the music. But I think Ruby and Sapphire were just a bit lacking in terms of, like, post-game content. Because there is a Battle Tower, obviously, but, of course, another game in that generation added a lot more, which we'll get to in a second. But Ruby and Sapphire, I think, are a solid B+. I think it is a very great generation. Story is kind of interesting because you have two evil teams now. You have Team Magma and Team Aqua. Based on what version you have, you get to fight one of them, and then the other one kind of comes to your aid at the end. Love the mascot legendaries. Kyber and Groudon are fantastic. So yeah, they're solid B+ tier games. I think more could have been done with like the post game and the games in general. But for what they were really good. So Ruby and Sapphire for me would be a solid B or B+. And now we've reached the first remakes of this list, being Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. These games didn't do too much to stand out from the original Red and Green. However, there is one big thing that these games added that was kind of cool, and that is the Sevi Islands. You have 7 new islands where you can go catch different regional Pokemon like Johto and Hoenn. The music is fantastic, love the remade music. The graphics still look good to this day, honestly. I don't think they really aged that much. And yeah, they're just solid remakes. They're pretty damn good. They've got a lot more content to offer. They got the Versus Seeker. You can go rematch CPUs and whatnot. That's kind of cool. So yeah, for me, these remakes are probably a solid A-. Not quite up to what Gold, Silver, and Crystal did in terms of, like, content and really, like, pushing the boundaries. But they're great remakes. They're fun. They had a lot of new content that's enjoyable, and they're just solid games. So, for me, LeafGreen, FireRed, probably an A- for me. So, we mentioned the Battle Tower in Ruby and Sapphire. Well, boys and girls, let me tell you that Pokemon Emerald did the next best thing. They made what is by far one of the best post-game rewards of any Pokemon game, being the Battle Frontier. Not 1, not 2, but 7 facilities to go tackle, and they're all pretty challenging. Like, you will have to buff up your team to conquer the Battle Frontier. It is, like, one of the ultimate challenges for any Pokemon player out there. It is fantastic. I love it. I spent so many hours there as a kid. The game itself is great as well. We have a bigger focus on Rayquaza. He's part of the story. That cutscene where he interrupts the other two, Kyogre and Groudon, is still like a fantastic cutscene to this day. It was awesome. You can catch both Kyogre and Groudon in this game. That's kind of cool. And yeah, aside from that, not a whole lot. But here's the thing. The Battle Frontier alone, it's gotta put it in S tier. Like I said, that offers so much playtime for any Pokemon player out there. Like, again, 7 facilities, all challenging. They will test your skills and your limits as a Pokemon trainer. Like, I'm not lying. That facility alone, plus the updated story and the other new features, it's an easy S tier for Emerald. It could be an A for some people, that's fair, but for me, like, I love more content, and I love post-game content, so for me, Pokemon Emerald, and I love Rayquaza, obviously. Emerald is the first S tier on this list. So, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I love Gen 4, as you guys probably know or don't know. I love Gen 4. These were the first DS games. That was kind of a big deal, using the touchscreen to do stuff now. New Pokemon were great. It has my favorite legendary of all time, being Giratina. Love Giratina, our Lord and Savior. But here's the thing. Diamond and Pearl are very slow. The animations are very sluggish, and it takes a long time to get certain things done in these games. So, for that reason, it's going to be knocked down a bit, but if I had to rank them, I think they're above Ruby and Sapphire, but because they are kind of slow-moving, and the post-game isn't too great, it's fine, but it's not, like, the best. I would put Diamond and Pearl probably at a B+, along with Ruby and Sapphire. I think they are better overall, but again, they're very slow-moving, so I can't quite put in A tier. A certain game, which we'll talk about in a second, did fix those issues, thankfully. But Diamond and Pearl are a solid B+. Great new Pokemon, very cool story, great evil team. I love Team Galactic, love the music. Oh, Cynthia, the hardest champion in the entire series. Still, it's iconic. I love Cynthia. She is a challenge, so that puts it up a bit, but not quite an A tier still. So yeah, Diamond and Pearl, B+ for me. Could have been a bit better if it was like faster moving, but for what it is, it's a B+. You can probably already guess where Pokemon Platinum is going to rank on this list, because look at that box art, you guys. It has my favorite Pokemon in the entire series, being, of course, Giratina Origin Form. And also, this game did fix a lot of the issues that Diamond and Pearl had. It's faster moving, it's not sluggish anymore. It has a Battle Frontier, which is not as good as Emerald's, but it's still a lot of fun. I love the Battle Arcade especially. One of my favorite places to go in any Pokemon game. I love that one. Battle Hall's pretty good too. I love that one. Oh, the Distortion World. Oh, one of the best areas in any Pokemon game ever. I love the Distortion World. Like, just the atmosphere, the music, the vibes, it's fantastic. I love it. I think Cynthia is harder in this game, I'm not sure, but her team is more interesting, I think, at the very least. But yeah, great post-game content, better animation, it's more fast-moving, Giratina is amazing. So, you know what? Emerald, say hello to your other S tier friend, because I'm putting Platinum in S tier. I think it's just below Emerald for me, but they're like neck and neck for me in terms of like which one's better. So, I think Emerald does take the edge on this one, but Platinum is still an easy S tier. Just the changes, the locations, the music, Giratina, the Battle Frontier, the post-game content, it's all fantastic. So, for me, Pokemon Platinum is yet again, sorry, not yet again, but it is yet another S tier for this list. Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver are by far not only one of the best games ever released, but easily the best remakes they've done. Like, they went all in on incorporating Diamond and Pearl and Platinum's features into this remake, and it worked wonders. The music is fantastic, the models and graphics are great. Oh, the post-game, it brings the Battle Frontier from Platinum in here, which is kind of cool. The Lugia and Ho-Oh fights are great. I love the cutscenes that play when you first encounter them, that's kind of cool. You can catch other legendaries, I think, from other games. That's neat as well. You can catch, like, Rayquaza and Kyogre, and I think the Gen 4 legendaries, like the Lake Guardians. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. But yeah, these are, like, fantastic remade games. Like, they really just did a great job, like, incorporating the world of Gen 4 into these remakes, or I guess the, what do you call them? The features of Gen 4, like the touchscreen and the dual screens into it. It's all great stuff. So, for me, another S tier for HeartGold, SoulSilver, easily the one to beat so far. But what's coming next? I think we have a new winner, you guys. If you have been following my channel for any amount of time, then you know that Gen 5 is my favorite gen of all time, and I still consider it to this day to be peak Pokemon. I don't think any generation, even Gen 3 and 4, which I love to death, don't even come close to what Gen 5 did. Gen 5 did so much when it comes to, like, innovating and being creative and just really refining the overall Pokemon formula. It has over 150 new Pokemon, more than any gen in history. It was like 156, I think, right? The music is iconic, the locations are some of the best, like Castelia City, Nimbasa City, Driftvale City, it's all fantastic stuff. Two of the best mascot legendaries in the entire series, Reshiram and Zekrom, are both fantastic. It has the best story of the entire series, by far, being End Story. Loved it. It was captivating. His character development was amazing, it was fun to see unravel. Yep. Like, what more can I say about Gen 5? It's fantastic. It is my favorite gen of all time. Likely always will be. So, no more has to be said. Black and White, easy S tier. The one, oh, sorry, where is it? There we go. The one to beat now, like, it's just Gen 5 did so much, and it had a great post-game as well. It just had a lot of content, dude. There was a lot to do in these games. Like, there's so much you can just go see and do compared to other Pokemon games. There's so much content here. I love it. Just, like, when you compare every element of any Pokemon game, like, against each other, like story, Pokemon, like the list of new Pokemon, locations, music, atmosphere, vibes, like, Gen 5 for me takes the cake all the way. It has, like, the best of almost every element, and I love it for that, so yeah, there you go. Black and White, easy S tier, but, guess what, guys? There's one more pair of games that are, about to happen that, could yet again top the current, champions in S tier. You guys. I cannot say enough good things about Black 2 and White 2. They are my favorite games in the series. They are the peak of the entire franchise. The amount of content that is in these games is mind-blowing. Utterly mind-blowing. We have an achievement system. We have Join Avenue where you can, like, make your own shops and whatnot. That's kind of cool. What else? There's new cities, of course, new music, a new champion, which you can hear in the background. I love Iris' champion, favorite one by far. I love you, Cynthia, but sorry, Iris is cake. I do love the new fusion for Reshiram and Zekrom with Kieran. That's kind of cool. But the biggest thing for me by far, like the best feature of the entire game, has to be the Pokemon World Tournament. This place lets you fight every gym leader and every champion from the previous 4 generations, and the ones that were leaders in the previous games, but then were removed in Black 2, White 2. So the Striton City brothers, Lenora, Bryson. It is mind-blowing how no other game besides kinda Sun and Moon have this feature where you can go fight other leaders and champions from other games. It's crazy. There's so much in this game, like, it's wild. And you know what's funny is, like, these games were out in 2012. The 3DS was out for a year and a half at that point, so to some people, these games were considered holdover games. They were meant to hold people over until X and Y were out. And what do we get? The best games in the series by far. These are not holdover games. These are not meant to, like, satiate your appetite or anything until X and Y were out. No. These games did not need this much content, but they got it, and it is the best package that they've ever done for any Pokemon game. It is just crazy wild to me. So, Black 2, White 2, S+++ all the way. Like, I will say right now, these won't be topped because the other games are kind of on a decline in terms of content and story and characters, but we'll get there, don't worry. But, Black 2, White 2, the undisputed king of the Pokemon tier list, S++ all the way. Best games in the series, by far. Enough said, goodbye. So, I was kind of hyped for X and Y, because Black 2, White 2 just came out, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Black 2, White 2 had a lot of content, so I hope X and Y can match up to that, and, like, have another good story and characters, and just a great world to explore. And for me, personally, I gotta say, X and Y just didn't quite match up. Like, the characters are not memorable, I don't like the story, the world is fun to explore in 3D, that's great and all. I love Lumio City. The gyms are okay, not the best, but okay. The Elite Four is, in my opinion, the worst in the series, because when you go back to refight them after you beat the champion, they don't change. At all. And, to my knowledge, unless, I think Scarlet and Violet might have the same feature, I'm not sure, I'll have to go back and look at that, but, yeah, if not, then X and Y are the only games in the series where the Elite Four does not change at all when you go back to refight them. I hate that. Like, what's the point? One of the best parts is, like, you know, making your team better, and then going back to fight the Elite Four at harder difficulty, and then seeing how you do. This game doesn't have that. It's the same Pokemon, same levels, same strats, no Mega... Oh, wait, no, there is Mega. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Oh, wait, no, is there? No, there's not. They don't use Megas, even! The champion does, but, like, the Elite Four? What? Like, what were they thinking, man? But yeah, X and Y is not bad. I love Mega Evolution. I love a lot of the music. It has the best trainer battle theme by far. I love that one. But X and Y, for me, to this day, are still, disappointing in some aspects. So, sorry, X and Y fans. I'm putting X and Y in C tier. They gotta go here. They are better than Red, Blue, and Yellow, and Green. Yeah, they are. But, they didn't really match up for me. They didn't have, like, the best content in general when it comes to, like, characters and story and, world design in general. And they were just kind of lackluster. I think a Pokemon Z would have helped it, but we didn't get one, so... I don't know, but X and Y, sorry fans, it's a C+ for me. I can't put any higher than that. It was a disappointment for me, but, yeah, X and Y were just not that great for me. But I still like them. It's just I don't love them because they could have been better. But yeah, sorry guys. X and Y for me are a C tier. So while I agree that HeartGold and SoulSilver are still the best remakes they've done so far, ORAS is a very close second. Like, this game is gorgeous in the Gen 6 style, and it has a lot of cool features. You can ride Latios and Latias to explore the world, like, and go wherever you want. That's pretty cool. I love the new music. The trumpets are just amazing. Love it. The gyms look great in this game. They were, like, they got a huge makeover, and they look fantastic. The characters, too, have been updated a lot. They look a lot better now than they did in Gen 3. Like, Wally, for example, love that. We have new Mega Evolutions, like Sableye and Gallade. That's cool. But for me, the highlight of ORAS is the post-game. When you beat the champion, and you start what's called the Delta episode. You follow this girl named Zinnia, who's trying to awaken Rayquaza for something. And when you catch Rayquaza, there is an asteroid coming to Earth, and you have to destroy it. And the scene that plays when you ride Rayquaza into space, you break the asteroid, and out comes fucking Deoxys in space, is like a dream. It is still, in my opinion, the best cutscene in any Pokemon game. Like, you can't top that. And the music, oh my god. Da 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 da. It's so good, dude. Like, oh my god. That is like a dream scenario right there. Because I'm pretty sure we, all of us as kids, had dreams of going to space to fight Deoxys. And these games gave us that exact scenario. It was crazy. However, they're not quite S tier. I want to put them there, but I think they do lack a couple things that these S tier games have for me personally. But they're still an easy A tier for me, and I do think they do deserve to be probably A+, above Gold and Silver. So yeah, ORAS, great content, great post game, best cutscene of all time, a lot of cool new features. ORAS is an easy A+ for me. So after X and Y, I was kind of worried about Sun and Moon because I thought they would not be that great. I mean, they did get marketed pretty good. That was great, the marketing for that. But I was worried. But turns out they're great. I love the story, love the characters, love the mascot legendaries being Solgaleo and Lunala, sorry. I love lions, so that was an easy pick for me, picking Pokemon Sun. We have a whole ass, like, lion mythical Pokemon, so there you go. I think the one part of Sun and Moon... Sorry. The one part of Sun and Moon that was kind of a letdown for me is the post-game, because while I love the whole Ultra Beast fetching quest, after that, there's pretty much nothing. And I don't like the battle tree, because the problem with that is normally every facility like that starts off easy, and then it gets harder as you win more battles. The battle tree, however, starts hard and is always hard. That turned me off instantly. I did not like that. I am a much bigger fan of having it be easy at first, and then as I get my win streak going, it gets harder. That doesn't happen in Sun and Moon, and I don't like it for that reason. The new Pokemon are great, though. I love, what is that? I love the starters. I love Incineroar. I love, Mimikyu was one of my favorite. I love Komodo, Vikavolt. So, a lot of good ones in here. Not the best list, but it's still a good list. So for me, Sun and Moon is probably, maybe still an A tier, but just barely. It has a great story. I love the story in the Sun and Moon, but, does that put it above these games? I think it might. I might go, like, maybe an A- for Sun and Moon. I think they could have been better with, like, overall content, and post-game especially, but for what they are, one of the best stories, great characters, great Pokemon, great music. Fun locations, so, not quite S tier, but still an A- for me for Sun and Moon. Oh man, these games did not get that great of a reception when they came out. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. These were considered cash grabs because they did not do a whole lot to be different than the original Sun and Moon. There was some new content, like new locations and story alterations, but the one part of the story that they changed that I did not like at all was Lucamine's character. In the original games, she was a fantastic villain, and that final fight was kind of terrifying. But in these games, they ruined her. They took the focus off of her and put it on the Crowsman, which makes sense, but still, it kind of ruined Lucamine. I do love Ultra Space, so I love getting to travel through Ultra Space and getting to see the domains of these Ultra Beasts, like Xurkitree has like the electric area, and then Buzzwole has the whole like giant tree jungle area. That's cool. So that was fun. There's more, I think they added one more trial captain. That's kind of cool, I guess. But aside from that, nothing too big on the main story. However, The post-game? One of the best. Team Rainbow Rocket. They're back, and not only that, they brought the music back, and they brought back every major villain from the first 6 or 7 generations. Because we have Giovanni, we have Lysander, Archie, Maxie, Cyrus, Lysander. And that's it, right? Oh, and Chorus, too. Oh, and Getsus. I'm an idiot. So yeah, that was cool. And the cool thing is they, when you fight them, they have the legendary Pokemon they were after on their team. So Getsus has either Reshiram or Zekrom, and Cyrus has Dialga or Palkia, and then Giovanni has Mewtwo. So the fights are kind of hard for that reason, but they're also a lot of fun. So that's cool. However, like I said, not a huge change from the original Sun and Moon. So it's still an A tier, but probably just right above Sun and Moon for me. But they're still an A tier. Great content, great post game. Love Rainbow Rocket. I do love the new changes, but again, not a whole lot. So the Ultra games are solid A for me. So these ones are a bit hard to rank. We have Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I like these games, but they're kind of mixed for me. Because the way you catch Pokemon in this game is you have your controller and you just do this. That's it. There's no like actual battle. That's kind of not my style, but it was fine, I guess. What I will say though is that these are by far the best looking Pokemon games. The art style and the graphics really pop in these games. It is a beautiful game to look at. It is great. There are, however, 2 features that these games have that I've been wanting for so long. And that's why they're, like, I like them a lot. But, the first one is a portable PC. No more having to go to the Pokemon Center every single time to swap out your Pokemon. You can swap it from the menu. That's great. I love that. But the big thing, you guys can probably guess it by now, the big change for this game, or the big addition, is we finally have Pokemon in the overworld. I have wanted that for over 20 years. We finally got it. It was great. The games are now keeping that, hopefully. I love that, so that's great. However, Let's Go for me is still probably just a C tier because, again, they are very lacking in terms of content and Pokemon, and it is just a Gen 1 remake again, so not the best debut for a Switch Pokemon title, or I guess the first console Pokemon mainline title, but, yeah, are they above X and Y, though? Not quite. I think X and Y are better, but Let's Go does have some things that, are better than what is in X and Y for me. So, yeah, they're good, but not quite B, A, or S. But Let's Go is still a C. They're good games, but they were lacking. A lot of cool features though, but still a C tier for me. So I thought that X and Y would be my least favorite generation of all time when I first played it, and then I played Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I like Sword and Shield overall, but in terms of lackluster when it comes to just the games in general, Sword and Shield takes the cake in that department. These games feel very, they feel very wooden. They feel not really, like, they feel very low effort in some cases. Like, the characters were not really that well built out. The story is just bleh. I do love the final, like, raid fight where you fight, Eternatus with Zacian and Zamazenta. That's cool, and the music is cool too, but that's just one moment. The rest of the game, not so much. The locations are not that memorable. The legendaries are fine. Like, Zamazenta and Zacian are fine, but not the best. I do love the raid fights where you go and you can get your friends to, like, help take down a giant raid Pokemon. That's kind of cool. The wild area is our first dive into an open world Pokemon game, and that's cool, but it wasn't that big. It was kind of big, but not too big. And the game only lets you have that spinnable camera in those areas, which was kind of not the best. So yeah, Sword and Shield has some merits to it, I won't deny that, but on an overall basis, I was left feeling cold by the end of it. I didn't feel a lot from these. and it is now my least favorite generation of Pokemon. But I will say it has, like, one of the best new Pokemon lists of all time. Like, a lot of good designs are here. We got Grimmsnarl, what else? Applin, the starters are great, Corviknight, a lot of good ones in here. But, again, overall basis, kind of cold for me. So, Sword and Shield, sorry guys, it's the lowest one for me. Probably like a C, C-. Could have been a lot better, but the base games, we'll get to the DLC in just a second, but the base games are just not that great. I'm sorry, but yeah, Sword and Shield is a very disappointing C- for me. Alright, so the first DLC, the Isle of Armor for Sword and Shield, was pretty good. I think it's better than the base game, but there wasn't a whole lot to it. I do like the story. It wasn't the best by far, but it was fine. The big thing, though, is that the entire map is a wild area, so you can spin the map however you want, whenever you want, like, all the time. That's kind of cool. The new Pokemon are fine. Again, Kubfu, Urshifu are good. Galarian Slowpoke and Slowbro are fine. But yeah, I like the Isle of Armor, but it's not really that great. It's probably a B tier if I had to give it a rating here. Probably below Ruby and Sapphire, like maybe right here. But it was good. I enjoyed it. It is a lot better than the main game for me personally, but it didn't do a whole lot story-wise and content-wise to really put it into A tier. But it was fine. So the Isle of Armor for me is a pretty... It's a B tier for me. So the Isle of Armor was a B. The Crown Tundra, however, is an easy A for a lot of reasons. I think the content in this one is a lot better than the Isle of Armor. I love the... Oh, what is it called? The Dynamax Adventures? That was a great feature. Getting to catch legendaries through raid fights with your friends. That was fantastic. And the different, like, story points where you catch the new Reggies, and then you go help Calyrex, and you find the horse Pokemon. That's all cool. So yeah, it's an A tier, but, would I put it above Sun and Moon? Honestly, that's a tough call. I probably wouldn't, I mean, because it is just DLC, but it is a good DLC. I would say probably maybe A- for Crown Tundra. It's there, but it's not quite up to these levels. But it's still a great DLC. I loved it. A lot of great content. The Dynamax Adventures are a fantastic new feature. The new Pokemon are great too. Like the Galarian birds were pretty cool. What else? Oh, the new Reggies were fantastic as well. So yeah, it was a great DLC pack, and I enjoyed it a lot. So, Crown Tundra for me is a pretty, solid A/A-. So, BDSP are considered the worst remakes of the entire series, and I gotta say, I kind of agree. Like, these could have been a lot better than they were. There is, like, no platinum content here at all besides the Giratina fight where you have this song playing. But, BDSP are not, these aren't bad games, but, more could have been done, for sure. I do love the Grand Underground, where you can, catch Pokemon that you wouldn't be able to catch that early in the game. That's kind of cool. The soundtrack is great. I think Eternal Forest, is better in this game than it was in the original, like, music-wise. That was great. The HMs are now, like, an app instead of, like, having to waste moves. That's a neat, addition. But BDSP, for me, just didn't do a whole lot. Like, I didn't feel a lot from it. They're fine remakes, but they just feel a bit low effort when it comes to, like, really, you know, refining the, what was set in the original Diamond and Pearl. Not a lot was done. So they're probably a B tier. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this might be a controversial take. I might put Diamond and Pearl below the originals. I think I would. I think there are things better in the remakes than the originals, but when it comes to just, I don't know, it's tough. You know what? No. Scratch that. They're above Diamond and Pearl, but they're still in B tier. I can't put them... Actually, you know what? Hold up. I gotta make a swap here. I'm sorry. We're gonna swap Ruby and Sapphire into B+. These are better to me. And honestly, Isle of Armor... actually, no. You know what? No, that stays there. But Ruby and Sapphire are like B+. They're above Diamond and Pearl. But yeah, I think both versions of Diamond and Pearl are B tier. I think BDSP is the better game, but not by a whole lot. So yeah, BDSP, another B tier. Oh man, Pokemon is finally innovating. We have Pokemon Legends Arceus, our first dive into a fully open world Pokemon game. Sorta. It's not fully open, but it's mostly open. This game is fantastic. It had a lot of things I've been wanting out of Pokemon for so long. You can throw the Pokeball at the Pokemon to catch it and not fight it. That's amazing. I love it. I love the open areas. I love the music. I love the characters. It was great. Like, not the best game in the series, but as far as like really pushing the Pokemon formula, huge success for Legends Arceus. I loved it. It was great. So it is an A tier, and honestly, not gonna lie, you guys, it's an A+. It's probably the best one in A tier by far. I think it is. So, yeah, not quite an S for me. I wish it was, but it's a very, very close A+. Like, this game really pushed what I wanted out of Pokemon. It gave a lot of great features. And as far as, like, you know, giving us a vision of what open world Pokemon could be like, pretty damn good job, Pokemon Company. Doesn't feel rushed at all, like most games do. It was great. It felt like it was a complete game. So, yeah, Arceus is a very, very solid A+ in this list. And now we've reached the most controversial games in the series, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is by far the most mixed bag on this list for a lot of people, and for good reason. These games don't run well at all. They have a lot of tech issues that still are not resolved, and it kind of does bog down the gameplay, especially when it comes to shiny hunting. Like, I stopped a long time ago because there were certain areas where I was trying to shiny hunt and it was miserable with those, with the frame drops and the lagging and the whatever else. It was bad. However, there are a lot of good things about Scarlet and Violet. It has one of the best soundtracks of any Pokemon game. I love the Terra Raid theme, which you hear in the background. I love the Team Star... Oh my god. The Team Star grunt theme is by far the best grunt theme they've ever had. It is a fucking bop. And the Penny battle theme, one of the best tracks in the entire series, easily. One of the best stories, too. I love the whole Team Star arc where you, learned that Penny was, like, forming a group based around people who were bullied. That was kind of heartwarming. I love Area Zero. I love the new Paradox Pokemon, like the future and past forms. Those were great to discover as well. Great mascots. I love Miraidon especially. That was cool. But yeah, it's still just a mixed bag for me. And also, the first fully open world Pokemon game. That's fantastic. I got my dream finally. But, like I said, the tech issues really do ruin it. Like, if these games ran well, they'd be, like, probably A or S. Because the rest of the game is pretty fantastic. I loved it. But again, the tech issues really do bog down the gameplay a lot. And, yeah, but I would put Scarlet and Violet, I want to put it in B because of the tech issues alone, but, I think it's still an A, probably. Right? Yeah, it's probably still an A for me. But as far as where on A tier, I don't know. That's a hard one. I think it's above Crown Tundra, but above Sun and Moon, that's a tough one. I would probably say no. I think that's where we stop it. So we're gonna put them right here. So there we go. They're just barely an A tier, but nowhere close to an S because of the tech issues alone. But I still love Scarlet and Violet. One of my favorite games of 2022, but could have been better technically, so they're going to be an A tier, but, yeah, still an A tier for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So, I compare the Teal Mask to the Isle of Armor in that it was just fine. It wasn't really mind-blowing or anything. There was some good story in there, and I do love Ogerpon especially. But the rest of it just didn't really hit me that hard. The locations weren't that cool, and the characters were fine, I guess. I do love Kieran. I love his whole arc that he's got going on, but aside from that, not a lot of good characters in this one. They brought Pokemon back, that was cool, I guess, but yeah, Teal Mask is fine. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it didn't really, you know, stick with me as much as I hoped it would. So, I would probably put Teal Mask maybe B-, maybe a C, actually. You know what? Oh, that's hard. I don't know. You know what? I might go with a C for this one. I think they're above X and... I think it's above X and Y for me personally, with how much I enjoyed it. But... I don't know, it didn't really hook me that much. Like, it wasn't, like, you know, as big or as, what's the word, memorable as I hoped it would be. But, it was still fine, but, now I'm kind of, hold on, I'm second-guessing it. You know what? No, we're gonna keep it there. That's a good place for it, I think. So, above X and Y, above Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but, yeah, it just didn't really hook me that much. So, Teal Mask is a, very solid C+. Could have been better, but, oh well. Woo! Alright, the final one. The Indigo Disk from Scarlet and Violet Pack 2. Better than Teal Mask by a lot, but I don't know if it's quite A tier with Crown Tundra. I think it's kind of, it gets there, but, the story is, you know what? I think it does belong there, actually. The story is very engaging. Kieran's whole villain arc was fun to, see. The locations are more interesting based around different biomes, like Minecraft. That's kind of cool, I guess. Getting to catch the legendaries was cool as well. Like, yeah, that was cool. Oh my god. Okay. Here's why I'm putting it in A tier on a personal level. The music. They brought back certain songs from Gen 5 and remade them because the location of the academy of this game is in Unova, and so the themes you hear are all based around Gen 5. The Wild Battle theme, the Trainer Battle theme, so that really hit me. So that was cool. The final fight is a lot better than Ogerpon in my opinion, where you and Kieran fight against Terapagos in a raid battle, which is kind of cool. It was kind of hard too. It wasn't really that challenging, but it was kind of difficult at times. So yeah, a lot better than Teal Mask in my opinion, but I'm not sure if it's an A tier for me still. I think personally, it might still be B. Probably like right about here, I think. Yeah, you know what? Final call, I'm putting it there. Not quite A tier, but it's a solid B. I enjoyed it for what it was, but more could have been done for me personally. Still loved it. So, there you go. Indigo Disk, final offer, ringing the button, locking it in, is a B tier on this list. Whew, I'm out of breath, you guys. That was, quite the list, right? So there you go. That is my current list of every mainline Pokemon game. I might do a new one if new games come out soon. I don't know. But as far as right now, January 5th, 2024, that's my tier list of the mainline Pokemon games. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of my tier list. And, you know, what are your tier lists? Do you think that Sword and Shield are an S tier? Are you that crazy? Let me know in the comments, and I will see what your opinions are. But until then, I will see you guys in the next tier list video, and until that happens, take care, and I'll see you then. Bye! Hey, hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to see another awesome video, as well as one that you might have missed from this week, click the 2 videos on your left. And make sure you subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of future videos. With that said, I'll see you all in the next amazing video.